question to everybody is, how many of you have sold a home?
Sold.
How many of you bought a home? Did any of you use stagers when you sold your home? You did.
Yeah.
What did you do?
It was empty.
It was empty.
Yeah.
How long did it stay on the market? Just out of curiosity.
2 months. 2 months.
Okay. So, and how long was yours on the market?
An hour.
This, in essence, is the benefit of staging a home. I gave you the statistic that said a staged home sells in 23 days versus, I think it was 186 days, which is a little over 6 months. That's money out of your pocket as the seller. From the buyer's perspective, when you walk into an empty cavern, you may not be able to find a purpose for every space. May not be able to visualize yourself living there, and not really be able to envision your furniture fitting or your life fitting into this home. So the benefits of staging and working with a stager who understands, first of all, what the purpose is behind the staging. What are we looking for? Are we looking to increase the value, or are we looking for a quick sale? Do we want to create that environment and atmosphere of welcoming and come on in, raise your family here? All of those things I take into consideration when I look at a property to stage. So, pardon me, my allergies. Yes, we are having the largest bloom ever in California. So, when you look at staging a property or your own property, the benefits really come in that you're more likely to sell it for more and more quickly. But you also create some other opportunities for yourself by hiring a stager. And one of those is, okay, so when you were getting ready to move, did your stager come in and say, I need you to declutter, I need you to pack this up, this needs to be gone, we need to do these things?
It was basically, you gotta take all those walls wide, and yes, we're gonna get rid of some stuff, but just let go of this house, it's no longer your house.
So you get a jump start on the packing process. Because how many of us have been cramming stuff into boxes at the very last minute and the movers are knocking on the door? So you get a little bit of a jump start on that. It's okay. And you also get to take the stress out of the process. Right? You no longer have to be responsible for what it looks like. You've turned that over to somebody else. And it also takes the emotion out of it for you. How many times have you gone into a house and you've walked in and said, oh, these people are still living here. And they're living here well, right? They live here deeply every day. I mean, it's true, right? You can tell. I walked into a house over the weekend to stage. And it's kind of like my house when I don't have company. They had blankets on everything because they have animals, right? And they had 7 cat trees. I am not kidding you. 7 cat trees. I'm like, so we're gonna move those, right? So anyway, I bid on the job, and I should hear by the end of the week whether I have that or not. But you walk into somebody else's things, and it doesn't quite feel right. So when you stage a property. When I stage a property, I go in and I listen to what the house has to say to me. What are the features and benefits that I want to highlight and accentuate? Is there anything I need to maybe distract from?
The 7 cat trees?
Yeah, 7 cat trees. But on one property that I bid on, that I didn't win the bid, there was a dish satellite on the deck that looked out to the ocean. And I'm like, what are you thinking, right? So, okay, so I'm gonna bring in a potted plant, we're gonna disguise that. We're gonna make it not so visible. I also take a look at things like, what does the spirit kind of the house say? And I know that's kind of weird, it's a little esoteric, but it's very Santa Cruz. Right? So, but the house kind of speaks to me about what, a little bit of its history and what it wants to be and how it wants to look. I liken what I do to dressing a home up. dress it up. How is it going to look its best? The makeup, but the paint is the makeup, and I am the dressing. So, I want to take a quick look and make sure I've got everything. Oh, and okay, so when we talk about decluttering and moving things into storage, we're starting to pack. A clean, well-organized home makes it feel well taken care of, and people can see themselves coming into that environment and leaving their own mess behind, because we all have that mess, right? And we look at this clean space and think, oh, I could totally move in here. And maybe I could keep it that way. Just maybe I could keep it that way. So I know, right? It all starts to collect. But it's interesting. I did a job for one of the first jobs I did. They were hoarders, and like literally hoarders. And their two children who were adopted, and he was a pastor at a local church. The two children had such anxiety issues. There was so much stuff in their house. There were pathways to get to bedrooms and bathrooms, and when I walked in to look at this, and I was shaking so bad, my pictures were like, I was having an anxiety attack. By the time we got done, and I gave them exactly 1 week to pack up everything, I went in and red tagged the only things I wanted them to keep. Keep this, keep this, keep this. Because they were going to live there, so they wanted to live in their own furniture. Oh, no, that's okay. All the rest of the stuff has to go. I came in and then I dressed up the bedrooms, and I staged a couple of the rooms that were kind of, didn't really have a purpose, and defined that for them. The daughter, in her bedroom, I gave her some beautiful pink shears on the back headboard for her bed, and pink throw, pink pillows. She walked up and hugged me and said, I feel so much better. And her mom overheard. And afterwards, her mom came up and said, what do you think that was about? And I said, I think the space is clear, right? The space is clear. Not as much anxiety, not as much, but you think about your own office, Pete, Cullen. Not to call you out, but when we have clutter,
I resemble everyone.
I know, me too, right? He said it today. So, but if we have clutter in our space, we have clutter in our mind, and in our heart, and in our soul. And we need to be able to clean that space out as people come in and take a look at things. Yeah, the Head Start on the packing thing was one of those things when I was reading through some stuff, I'm like, that is such a benefit. People don't even understand. But it also helps you justify the asking price. And, a clean, well-maintained home, seriously, you can ask more money for that than the contractor special that needs to be cleaned out. I go to the SCAR meetings on Thursday mornings. Last Thursday, contractor special, Watsonville, $435,000, and I'm like, is it a tear down? Because I'm pretty sure it is, right? And no staging is going to help that. No staging will ever help that. That's not going to work. So we talk about also, when you stage a house, you eliminate pieces, and you bring in pieces that help define space and help give it a purpose. That awkward alcove that nobody really knows what to do with, so it becomes a dumping ground. Or, let's eliminate the treadmill because really it's now just a clothes dryer. Does anybody have a clothes dryer that looks like a treadmill? I got rid of mine. But it also makes the house look larger. And when you stage, people don't pay attention to things like, oh look, there's a nick on that wall, right? It takes away from its, I'll give you another example. I always recommend to clients to replace and update their plugs and switches, doorknobs, light fixtures. Simple things that you don't think too much about. They don't cost a whole lot to do it. But you walk into an empty house and that's the first thing that sticks out to me. Oh God, look at, I redo all of these plugs and outlets because I want the square ones, not the round ones. And I want the toggle switch instead of the flip switch. And oh my gosh, I have to repaint this room or look at the nicks and cracks in the walls. When you stage, those things become less apparent. And people can focus on, yes, I can bring my family in here to live. We also, when I stage, I also create areas. Polly and I talked about this last night. I'll often set up a bistro table, some margarita glasses and a pitcher. And you walk in and you see, and Polly said, oh my God, I can see my friends and I hanging out at the bistro table having some margaritas.
Technically, we didn't talk about it.
We did. We did. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we did it last night. It's different. That was a patio and it was wine, but it was kind of the same thing. So, but it's, by giving areas a purpose, people feel more likely that they can walk in, bring their friends and family, hang out, start their families. I did a job for Pete a while ago up off of Thurber where it was a young couple with a baby and they needed to live in their home while it was being sold. They were moving on up, and I'm sure they've expanded their family by this time, but I was able to go in and help them dress it up, keep the same things in place for the baby and not disrupt the child's life, and give them a space that they could live in that was still beautiful and easy to see another family coming into. So, yeah, it puts your house above the competition. Any staged home will get more activity than an unstaged home. 2 reasons. First of all, the visual appeal. Everybody shops online today. There is not a single one of us in this room who hasn't gone out to the MLS site and looked at a property. Pete's tagged you in something on Facebook and you go in and look and then you've got all of these beautiful images. Thank you, Taylor, for you and your industry for being able to capture the beauty of that. But those homes get more likes, they get more views, and they get more visitors. They also get more offers. Okay? So Taylor's helped me put together, well, this is the start of my journey with the brand fusion team. So Taylor, can we show the video? There's one more thing I want to say, and that is a good staging company will have their own inventory and have a lot of their own inventory. And you'll get a peek today at what my inventory looks like. Oh, this is me refinishing chairs for the seascape job. There's my warehouse.
There's more coming in every day.
That is true.
That's only 2 aisles.
This is the house I just staged on Bayview.
In Rio Del Mar?
Bayview Drive, yeah, in Rio. It's 2.9 million. Sits at the very end, overlooks the cliffs. This is empty, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's really pretty. The woman is an artist. There's part of my team. There's another part. Did you notice it took Rose and I to carry one, and Polly could carry one on her own? That's the deck that looks straight down the coast. That's the painting I bought from her. And this is seascape. coffee table. Oh, there's my dog. So we've got some pieces to add to this, and we've got some still photography that's been in progress and process. She's got some outtakes and bloopers as well. But really, what I want to say is this in my bag. Let me just grab this. Yes. I will.
While she's looking in her bag, I just want to tell you something about that first property. It was staged by another stager who she was very unhappy with, paid a lot of money for, fired. Darla came in a little bit higher.
For less room staged, by the way.
And you had an answer for that, but she said, I think you're a little expensive.
And I said, but yet you're calling me.
And so we went in this kind of a prickly situation because she didn't want to pay for a second stager, you know, another fee. And by the end, they're best friends now. Everybody's.
She's gonna have me stage her English cottage. This is the folder I chose to keep all of my paperwork in for
Nice.
my journey.
Awesome.
And it's got all of my contracts. Steve, you'll get yours today. that have moved me forward with this business. And this team and this group of people have really given me the courage to step out of my comfort zone and do the things I've always wanted to, dream the big dream and make it come true. So thank you very much.